Most people wait for permission. This story is about the ones who don't. Elon Musk. To my future wife, I don't care about your age. I choose you, my beloved child. Before you scroll, pause for just a moment. Because what you are about to hear is not a headline, not a rumor, and not something pulled from the chaos of the internet. It is a story wrapped in silence, timing, and intention. This is not something meant to be rushed. Stay with me until the end. Because something far bigger than curiosity is waiting for you tonight. The internet is buzzing, but for all the wrong reasons. Beneath the noise, beneath the outrage and speculation, lies a message so unexpected that it quietly changes how you look at love, power, and choice. They say the most powerful man on the planet thinks only in numbers, rockets, and code. They assume his world is built entirely on algorithms and ambition. But what if the one decision that truly defines him has nothing to do with technology at all? What if it has everything to do with the heart? People keep asking the same questions again and again. What does he really believe about love? About age? About destiny? And why does this message feel as though it was written for one person only? Hidden in plain sight? Don't skip this moment, because every second from here pulls you closer to a truth nobody saw coming. This is not about gossip. It is about perspective. Imagine a man who has seen the future, who has built it piece by piece, yet understands one brutal reality. Time humbles everyone. In the quiet moments, far away from cameras, charts, and public expectations, a different voice emerges. Calm, reflective, almost fragile. A voice that understands love is not measured in birthdays, calendars, or public approval. A voice that chooses connection over calculation. And when those words surface, I don't care about your age. I choose you. They land heavier than expected. They challenge everything we are taught to judge. They disrupt the rules people cling to for safety and comfort. This isn't about rebellion. It's about intention. It's about choosing someone not because the world approves, but because they align with your future when no one is watching. And that kind of clarity unsettles people, because it cannot be controlled. Now stay with me, because this is where the story tightens. Why would a man who plans decades ahead speak with such personal certainty? Why would he frame love as a decision rather than an accident? The answer is not loud. It is precise. Love to him is alignment of vision, resilience and timing, not a number printed on paper. It is not chaos. It is construction. This message isn't rushed, and it isn't impulsive. It is deliberate. And that is exactly what gives it weight. Somewhere out there, one person understands exactly what these words mean, while the rest of the world debates without context. This is only the beginning of a revelation that unfolds layer by layer. What comes next explains why this choice matters and what it costs. Because every powerful decision demands something in return. Stay here. This is the moment where curiosity turns into realization. People think the story is about romance, but that is only the surface. Underneath it lies something deeper. Courage. The courage to choose without asking permission from the world. When someone who lives under constant scrutiny speaks with certainty, it is never random. Every word is weighed. Every pause has meaning. This moment feels different because it is not meant to impress crowds. It is a signal meant for one person. A quiet declaration that says, I see beyond timelines, beyond labels, beyond what people expect me to value. Society loves to debate age, status, and timing, but it rarely speaks about alignment, about growth, about the quiet moments where two futures either collide or collapse. When he says, I choose you, it is not poetic. It is decisive. It means after seeing the world at its loudest, he is choosing something calmer, something real. And that scares people because certainty removes room for judgment. It ends arguments before they begin. It leaves no space for control. This message challenges a rule most people don't even realize they are following. That love must fit a formula. That choice must be justified publicly. But what if the most powerful decisions are the quiet ones? Somewhere between ambition and solitude, a realization forms. The future is not built with approval. It is built with intention. And when intention speaks, it does not explain itself. It simply chooses. This is why the internet cannot stop reacting. And this is why you are still watching. Because deep down, this is not just his story. It is a mirror. When someone who has everything chooses one path without hesitation, the world pauses. People expect explanations, interviews, defenses. Instead, there is calm certainty. And that calm speaks louder than any announcement ever could. This message does not ask for acceptance. It does not seek validation. It stands on its own. Choosing someone despite public noise is not impulsive. It is disciplined. It means the future has already been imagined, tested, and chosen in silence. And that removes the drama people feed on. Love in its strongest form does not rush, and it does not hesitate. It waits, it observes, and then it commits fully. When someone says, "I choose you," it is not a promise made in emotion. It is a direction set for the future. That is why this message lingers long after the words end. A choice like this is not about defying the world. It is about understanding it completely and still walking your own path. When noise no longer influences direction, decisions stop being reactions and start becoming statements. This is not a love story told for applause. It is a future defined without negotiation. And intention, unlike opinion, always outlives the moment. Most people wait for the right moment. Others wait for permission. The rarest ones move when alignment feels inevitable. Timing is not found. It is chosen. And when that realization settles in, it changes how you see commitment, clarity, and courage. Love that is chosen deliberately does not need defense. It stands firm even in silence. When someone says, "I choose you," without conditions, without timelines, without explanations, it becomes more than a sentence. It becomes a boundary the world cannot cross. And that is why this message stays with you. Because deep down, everyone wants the courage to choose with that level of certainty. This is not the end of the story. It is the moment you realize why it could only be told this way. Because real stories do not end when the words stop. They echo. And the real power is not in who the message was for, but in what it awakens inside you. The courage to choose your own path without apology, without delay, and without looking back is not something most people are taught. It is something discovered quietly, often after moments of doubt, reflection, and stillness. My beloved child, stay with me, because this is the moment where reflection becomes resolve. Don't skip this. Stay until the end. Something meaningful is unfolding, even if it doesn't arrive with noise. After everything you've heard, a subtle shift is happening inside you. The distractions soften. The opinions blur, and one truth rises above the rest. Choice defines destiny. Not applause, not approval. Choice. This story was never designed to shock you for a moment and disappear. It was meant to settle into your thinking and remain there, long after the screen fades. Because what's unfolding now isn't about someone in the spotlight. It's about the standard being quietly set for what commitment truly means. Look closer. The power of this message isn't in what was said. It's in what wasn't explained. When certainty speaks, it doesn't argue. It doesn't negotiate. It simply stands. That is why this message resonates across screens and silence alike. It reminds us that clarity is rare, and those who find it learn to protect it fiercely. Most people delay their lives waiting for perfect conditions that never arrive, not realizing that clarity is created through choice, not circumstances. Now let this settle. Love chosen with intention becomes direction. Direction becomes peace. When someone chooses without fear, they give permission for others to do the same. That is the quiet power you carry forward from this moment. The real ending of this story isn't on this screen. It lives in the next decision you make when you choose clearly, confidently, and without looking back. Stay with me, because this is where silence begins to speak louder than any declaration ever could. By now you can feel how this story refuses to fade. That's because the strongest decisions don't announce themselves with drama. They settle into reality and stay there. What you're witnessing is not a climax built for excitement. It is a truth designed to last. Understanding is replacing curiosity, and curiosity is transforming into certainty. When someone reaches a point where their future feels clear, they stop explaining and start living. This message was never meant to convince critics or satisfy spectators. It exists because alignment was found, and alignment needs no audience. That's why this feels different from anything you've watched before. It doesn't rush you, it holds you. The calm you're sensing now is the calm of a decision already made, a path already chosen. Love chosen with awareness doesn't chase perfection. It creates direction. When clarity arrives, it doesn't shout. It settles, and once it settles, everything else begins to fall into place around it. This story was never meant to end with a sentence. It ends with a feeling that stays long after the video stops. That feeling reminds you that the most powerful choices are the ones made quietly, confidently, and without regret. This is where the echo becomes permanent. You are no longer watching a story unfold. You are feeling it settle. This kind of message doesn't demand agreement. It invites awareness. When a choice is made with full clarity, it doesn't rush toward the world. It allows the world to catch up. This isn't about proving anything to anyone. It's about recognizing that when the right decision arrives, it feels simple. Even when the world insists it's complicated, simplicity holds power. Simplicity strips away doubt, comparison, and fear. That's why this message stays with you longer than expected. Once simplicity replaces confusion, clarity reveals just how rare it truly is. Love chosen with certainty becomes an anchor. An anchor doesn't move with every wave. It holds steady, and that steadiness defines the future from this point forward. This chapter doesn't close with applause. It closes with calm knowing. Some choices don't need to be understood by everyone. They only need to be honored by the one who makes them. The world slows around you now, and that is intentional. Some truths don't rush. They arrive and remain. What you're experiencing is no longer suspense. It's alignment. Alignment quietly asks you to reflect on your own choices. Love that is chosen consciously removes fear from the equation. Fear survives on uncertainty, but certainty dissolves it. That is why this message feels steady instead of dramatic. It doesn't chase emotion. It offers direction, and direction carries weight. Once direction becomes clear, everything else fades into the background, including the noise that once felt overwhelming. A choice made with clarity becomes a compass. A compass doesn't force movement. It simply points true north. And from that moment on, every step feels intentional. This isn't just the continuation of a story. It is the settling of a truth. The future belongs to those who choose with calm certainty and never look back once they do. After all the layers and reflections, one thing stands undeniable. This story was never meant to rush you. It was designed to slow you down, to make you listen between the words. When certainty reaches this level, it no longer feels dramatic. It feels inevitable, and inevitability, when embraced quietly, lasts longer than any reaction ever could. The strongest choices don't ask to be understood by everyone. They only need to be true for the one who makes them. That is why this message feels steady, unshaken, and grounded. A future chosen with awareness doesn't need correction later. When someone says, "I choose you," with full understanding of the world around them, it becomes more than a choice. It becomes a foundation. This is where the story completes its purpose, not by ending loudly, but by leaving you with a calm truth that follows you long after the screen goes dark. The most powerful messages don't try to convince you. They invite you to notice. This story never chased your attention. It earned it. And that is why you are still here.